Welcome to the Cala Builders podcast. You know, when you think about a traditional office space, you probably picture a giant static filing cabinet for humans.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Just rows and rows of identical desks.
Right, and endless seas of beige walls and that soul-crushing hum of old fluorescent lights above you. Everyone was slotted into their exact assigned space.
From 9 to 5 every single day.
Yeah, exactly. It was highly predictable. It was just this rigid container, and, the people were expected to just conform to its shape for a decade or more.
Because the mentality used to be entirely set and forget.
Yeah.
I mean, a property owner built out the space once, signed a 15-year lease, and basically never thought about the interior walls again.
Not until the tenant moved out anyway.
Right. But then you step into the commercial real estate landscape of Los Angeles right now in 2026, and that filing cabinet has been completely tipped over.
It really has. And today we are taking a deep dive into this massive shift happening in Southern California's commercial real estate.
It's a huge transformation.
It is. We're pulling from a stack of highly specific sources today. A freshly published 2026 trend report on LA office renovations and the operational blueprint of Cala Builders.
They're a premier LA design build firm, right?
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is to equip you, whether you are a business owner, a property manager, or just someone navigating the modern workplace, with the exact strategies being used right now.
Strategies to turn vacant, outdated offices into highly profitable talent magnet workspaces.
Yes, exactly. Okay, let's unpack this. Why is that traditional rigid office model officially financially obsolete today?
Well, the entire financial foundation of that old model just collapsed because of basic utilization math.
The 1-to-1 ratio.
Exactly. The historical standard was one employee equals one permanent desk. But I mean, look at the stabilization of hybrid work schedules today.
Right, people aren't there 5 days a week.
No, they aren't. If you have a dedicated desk sitting empty because an employee is only in the building Tuesday through Thursday, that empty chair is a massive financial drain.
Because you're still paying for it.
Yeah, a company is still paying premium Los Angeles lease rates, plus heating and cooling for that totally unoccupied square footage.
That adds up fast.
It does. So the new golden rule of space utilization in 2026 is designing for 60 to 70% occupancy. You just don't design for full 100% capacity anymore.
Which, makes perfect sense on a spreadsheet, but it completely changes how you have to physically build the space.
Oh, completely. You can't just build fixed walls everywhere.
Right, because if you are designing for a rotating cast of characters every day, the physical layout cannot be set in stone.
No, it has to be fluid.
I like to think of the modern office less like a filing cabinet and more like a theatrical stage set.
Oh, I like that. A stage set.
Yeah, because a stage set has to seamlessly change scenes between the morning act and the afternoon act. The infrastructure has to support whatever the current performance actually demands.
What's fascinating here is how that extreme adaptability functions in practice and, why it is so crucial for long-term portfolio management.
We aren't just talking about, slapping some caster wheels on a few desks, right?
Definitely not. The trend report highlights fully modular furniture systems, movable architectural walls, and truly multi-purpose zones.
So changing a room's function entirely.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine a large formal boardroom at 9 in the morning that by 2 in the afternoon can physically break apart into 3 individual focus pods.
Oh, wow. That's incredibly efficient.
It is. When an owner designs a space with that level of fluidity, they're effectively future-proofing the investment. It protects them against constantly changing tenant demands.
Without having to do a massive, dusty demolition every single time a new lease is signed.
Exactly. Ripping down drywall every 3 years is a great way to destroy your profit margins.
Yeah, I'd imagine. But looking through these sources, I noticed something unexpected.
The private offices?
Yes. Alongside all these open, highly flexible areas, the private office is actually making a comeback.
It is, but its function has fundamentally evolved. I mean, in the past, a closed-door office was a status symbol.
Right, reserved strictly for the executives.
Exactly. But today, the modern private office is heavily mixed in with the general team areas and flex spaces. It acts as a necessary sanctuary.
Like a shared room.
Yeah, a shared Zoom room or a quiet zone for deep, focused work that literally anyone can utilize when the open floor plan gets, a little too stimulating.
That makes a lot of sense. And we also have to factor in the Los Angeles climate here.
The indoor-outdoor trend.
Yeah, the trend report specifically highlights indoor-outdoor connectivity as a massive draw right now. I think we all know the feeling of being trapped under artificial lights all day.
It's draining. So
Yeah.
having breakout areas that spill out onto patios or landscape terraces is a huge morale booster for the workforce.
It gets them out of that completely artificial environment.
Right. But from a purely real estate perspective, it is a brilliantly strategic square footage pressure release.
How so? Like expanding the footprint?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It expands the usable footprint of the office, giving people more room to collaborate without actually increasing the conditioned indoor square footage that the landlord has to cool.
Ah, saving on the AC bill.
Precisely.
But let's be honest, that beautiful outdoor patio is completely useless if you step outside and your Zoom call instantly drops.
Oh, 100%. Or if a team configures those movable walls for a morning brainstorm, but can't find a place to plug in their laptops.
Right, which brings us to the invisible infrastructure required to make this theatrical stage set actually perform.
Because the visible layout changes are really only as good as the invisible systems supporting them. In 2026, high-level technology integration is considered the absolute baseline.
It's not a perk anymore.
No, it's no longer an upgrade you negotiate into a lease. It is a fundamental expectation.
The sources detail some pretty intense stuff. Sophisticated cable management hidden within those modular walls, charging capabilities embedded seamlessly at every single desk.
And ubiquitous network coverage that blankets the entire property, even out on those patios we just talked about.
Not to mention the conferencing tech. I mean, the days of a team spending the first 15 minutes of an important meeting crawling under a table, fighting with a frayed HDMI cable.
Completely over, yeah.
One-touch conferencing is mandatory.
Uh-huh.
But I want to pause on the tech integration for a second because I have to push back on something in the report.
Okay, what is it?
Well, the sources talk heavily about app-based space booking systems and occupancy sensors built into the lighting and climate control.
Right, the smart systems.
Doesn't that feel a bit too big brother to you? Like, are we turning the office into a surveillance state just to book a desk? Is that seamless convenience actually worth the data exchange for the people working there?
It's a very valid concern. And, employees almost always raise that exact fear initially.
I would.
Sure. But we have to look at the mechanism of how that data is actually captured and used. These aren't video cameras recording your computer screen.
Okay, so what are they?
These are thermal or motion sensors that act as the building's central nervous system. When those sensors talk to the smart climate control and lighting systems, they provide crucial real-time energy and occupancy data.
For the building management.
Yes.
So it's not about tracking who is sitting at desk number 4, but simply knowing whether desk number 4 needs air conditioning.
Precisely that. If a specific quadrant of the office is empty on a Friday afternoon because everyone went home early, the sensor system automatically dials back the HVAC.
Oh, and shuts down the lighting in that zone.
Exactly. It prevents the massive waste of conditioning empty square footage.
Okay, that makes sense.
And from the employee's perspective, the app-based booking means you never commute an hour in LA traffic, only to find there's nowhere for your specific team to sit together.
Fair point. Speaking of the HVAC systems, the premium placed on air quality right now is staggering.
It really is. The report notes that energy recovery ventilation systems, or ERVs, are huge right now.
Along with HEPA filtration and operable windows, they are absolute non-negotiables for sophisticated tenants in 2026.
And just for clarity, when we say HEPA filtration, we aren't just talking about catching standard dust.
Right. HEPA filters trap microscopic particulate matter. Everything from smog and wildfire smoke to actual virus aerosols.
Because the global awareness around indoor air quality permanently shifted a few years ago, tenants now fully understand how ventilation directly impacts cognitive function.
And sick days and overall health.
Exactly. An ERV system is particularly clever in this regard. It continuously brings in fresh outside air, but it uses a heat exchanger to transfer the temperature.
From the outgoing stale air to the incoming fresh air.
You got it. You get a constant supply of fresh oxygen without losing all the expensive cooling you just paid for.
That's brilliant. But running those ERV systems and keeping the air perfectly fresh takes a massive amount of power.
It does.
Which forces us to look at the energy bill and the overarching theme of sustainability, because going green used to be this nice, feel-good PR stunt.
Put a recycling bin in the break room and call it a day.
Exactly. Print a leaf on your brochure. But reading through these sources, sustainability has become a ruthless, hard-nosed cost strategy.
It is pure financial calculus now. Take the lighting, for example. Upgrading a dated office to advanced LED lighting cuts a building's energy use by an astonishing 50 to 70%.
Compared to those old, humming fluorescent fixtures.
Right. And then you add in high-efficiency windows that block solar heat gain, and you drastically reduce the heating and cooling loads.
Which is vital during a Southern California heat wave.
Absolutely.
Here's where it gets really interesting. It's the speed at which these eco-upgrades pay for themselves.
The ROI is wild.
Yeah. Yes, the upfront renovation budgets are undeniably higher when you specify these high-efficiency systems, but they are delivering total operational savings in just 3 to 5 years.
And in coastal Los Angeles, where utility rates are famously high, that payback period is even faster.
You are essentially reframing environmentalism as pure, savvy capitalism.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it goes far beyond just shaving a few $1,000s off the utility bills. It is fundamentally about tenant acquisition.
Because of the corporate mandates.
Exactly.
Okay.
Corporate tenants today, especially larger publicly traded firms, have strict internal sustainability mandates. They have public pledges to reduce their carbon footprints.
So if your building doesn't have water-efficient fixtures or EV charging stations in the parking lot,
Or low VOC materials inside, you are a liability to their corporate goals. They literally cannot sign a lease with you.
let's touch on those low VOC materials, actually, because that's another term that gets thrown around a lot.
Volatile organic compounds.
Right. It's the chemicals that off-gas from things like fresh paint or cheap new carpet.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that gives you that weird new office smell.
That also causes the infamous 3 p.m. headache and brain fog.
Yeah, exactly. The report mentions that tenants are heavily demanding low VOC paints, as well as recycled or rapidly renewable materials for acoustic paneling and cabinetry.
And having a formal certification acts as a major competitive advantage during lease negotiations.
Those certifications act as a rigid filter, don't they?
They really do. You have LEE certification, which focuses on environmental sustainability and energy efficiency, and then Fitwell certification, which focuses purely on human health, wellness, and comfort.
And without them.
Many corporate real estate brokers won't even put an uncertified building on their client's shortlist. So if a landlord ignores sustainability and wellness, they aren't just paying higher electric bills.
They are actively locking themselves out of the premium tenant pool entirely.
100%.
Okay, but let's be real. If I own a commercial building, I am probably not gutting my lobby just because I want to be nice to my tenants or, get a shiny plaque on the wall.
Right.
I'm terrified of my building sitting empty for 6 months while construction happens. We've talked about the movable walls, the hidden tech, the green upgrades, but let's get down to the actual dollars and cents.
The ROI.
Yeah. What is the return on investment here, and how does a bad renovation completely drain a budget?
Well, let's run the numbers provided in the trend report because they are compelling.
Mhm.
If you take an office space in the strong Los Angeles submarket places like Woodland Hills, Santa Monica, or downtown LA,
Okay.
a newly renovated, modernized space can lease for $3 to $5 more per square foot than a dated, aging space.
I want to slow down and do that math because this is a massive point. If we take a standard 10,000 square foot office space on a typical 10-year lease,
Yep.
that $3 to $5 premium equals $300,000 to $500,000 in additional revenue over the life of that single lease.
Now compare that revenue to the cost. If that targeted renovation cost you $100,000 to $200,000 up front, you have rapidly recovered your initial investment.
And added massive long-term valuation to the asset itself.
Exactly. But the trick to this is ruthless cost optimization. You cannot just throw money at the walls and hope it works.
The report outlines a very specific optimization strategy, right?
Yeah.
Focus on high-impact, high-visibility areas first.
Yes. The lobbies, the break rooms, and especially the restrooms. Upgrading to touchless fixtures immediately elevates the perception of the entire building.
Because first impressions dictate the lease terms.
Always. But the sources also warn of some major pitfalls that wipe out these profits.
What's the biggest one?
The most common mistake is over-designing for personal preference rather than market durability.
Oh, like picking something too trendy.
Exactly. Building owners sometimes pick highly stylized, trendy finishes that look incredibly dated 3 years later.
So what's the alternative?
The smart, durable play is utilizing commercial-grade matte finishes that hide daily wear and tear, and medium-tone carpets that don't show every single speck of dust.
Another sin mention is neglecting the lighting, like leaving those harsh, buzzing fluorescent tubes in place while trying to convince a tenant to pay premium rent.
Which never works.
Never. But the ultimate sin, the one that sinks projects and destroys profit margins, is underestimating contingencies.
Oh, absolutely. The golden rule here is you always, Always reserve 10 to 15% of your budget for the unknown.
Because when you open up a wall in a commercial building, especially in older Los Angeles properties, you never know exactly what nightmare you will find.
No, you don't. You might open a wall in a 1980s Encino office park and find unpermitted electrical work from 3 decades ago.
Or asbestos that requires immediate expensive remediation.
Exactly. Which brings me back to my fear as a building owner. So what does this all mean for a property owner who is terrified of a 6-month vacancy?
Yeah, how does anyone actually survive the renovation phase without going bankrupt from lack of rental income?
The strategy utilized by top-tier owners to survive the renovation phase is called phasing.
Phasing, meaning you renovate the common areas, the lobbies, and the exterior first, all while keeping the individual office suites occupied by paying tenants.
Exactly that. You protect your vital income stream during the construction process. By refreshing the public face of the building first, you instantly improve the perception.
For your current tenants and any future prospects taking a tour.
Right. Then, you methodically tackle the deep, suite-level renovations only as those individual leases naturally turn over.
But let's look at the reality of a construction site. To execute complex phasing, to swap out major HVAC systems, integrate smart sensors, and somehow avoid blowing past that 15% contingency buffer.
You can't just hire a guy with a pickup truck and a tool belt.
No, you really can't. The everyday reality of a typical job site is a logistical nightmare. The drywall guy can't close up the wall because the external electrician didn't show up.
Right.
That delays the painter, which pushes the lease start date back by a month, costing the owner $10,000 in lost rent.
That is the exact mechanism of how construction projects bleed money. It is a cascading failure of communication between disparate contractors.
Which is why a property owner needs a very specific type of partner to pull this off. And this introduces us to the operational blueprint of Cala Builders.
They're a great example of this.
Yeah, Cala Builders, operating under California license number 1156496, is a full-service, design-build general contractor based right in LA.
And they have a massive service area footprint, right?
They do. They serve LA County deeply, from Woodland Hills, Encino, and Sherman Oaks, all the way through Burbank, Pasadena, and into West LA.
What's notable about their operational blueprint is their versatility. I mean, they handle high-end luxury residential builds, but they are equally adept at complex commercial projects.
Like these tenant improvements.
Yeah, everything from these commercial tenant improvements and office builds to ADA compliance and restaurant construction.
But the real secret sauce here, according to the sources, is the design-build advantage. They keep architectural planning, design, permitting, and the actual physical construction completely under one roof.
Which is the perfect antidote to that drywall and electrician nightmare we just talked about. The traditional model of construction is highly fragmented. A property owner hires an architect, pays for the plans, takes those plans to bid with 3 different external contractors.
And then has to hire a separate expediter just to navigate the city permits.
It's a mess.
It's like trying to get a symphony orchestra to play a complex piece of music without a conductor.
That's a great way to put it.
The string section is blaming the brass section for being out of tune, the woodwinds are holding out for more money, and the audience, the property owner, is just sitting there listening to a very expensive wall of noise.
And the design-build model is the conductor. It unifies the entire performance into a single point of accountability.
That unification is critical in a market like Los Angeles. We currently struggle with elevated labor costs and persistent supply chain quirks.
Definitely. Cala Builders relies on a highly specialized in-house team to ensure this seamlessness.
Right.
You have Mehdi Abadat, the owner, who brings over 30 years of construction experience to the table. He sets the baseline standard of doing it right the first time.
And then you have the crucial dynamic between the design phase and the execution phase.
Yes. You have Argavan Evadat, the senior lead designer, who is translating the client's vision into beautiful, code-compliant architectural plans.
And right alongside her is Shaheen Etarafi, the lead project manager.
Having the lead designer and the lead project manager on the same exact internal team is the only reliable way to keep a phase renovation on schedule and strictly on budget.
Because if there's a problem, they're in the same room.
Exactly. If there's a sudden question on the job site about a structural element or a finish, Shaheen doesn't have to halt construction and wait 3 days for an external architect to reply to an email.
They just walk across the office and solve it internally, immediately.
Yeah. And they take that in-house control all the way down to the vital systems. They have Aliyah Ebadat, their licensed electrician, handling the complex panel upgrades and smart tech wiring.
Which is huge for all that tech integration we mentioned.
Exactly. And Mirdad Morgribi, their licensed plumber and PM, ensuring the infrastructure flows flawlessly.
It completely eliminates the constant finger pointing you usually see on job sites where one trade blames another for a delay.
When a property owner is trying to execute a phased office renovation, while tenants are still in the building trying to run their businesses, that level of tight in-house coordination isn't just a luxury.
It is operational survival.
Completely.
Yeah.
The communication has to be airtight, or the project will stall and the tenants will just leave.
So, to summarize what we've unpacked today, the 2026 Los Angeles office is absolutely no longer just a container for desks.
Not at all.
It has evolved into a dynamic, breathing asset. The flexibility of its layout, the intelligence of its hidden tech, and its hard-nosed commitment to sustainability directly dictate a company's ability to hire top talent.
And a landlord's ability to charge premium rent.
Right. And to pull off that kind of transformation, whether it is a complex commercial tenant improvement or even a luxury residential build, requires a unified, masterful approach like the one Cala Builders champions.
This raises an important question, though.
Oh, what's that?
Well, when we look at where these trends are heading, offices needing lifestyle amenities, destination-style kitchens, outdoor patios, and deep biophilic design just to keep workers comfortable and happy.
Yeah, they're getting pretty fancy.
They are. And when we consider that firms like Cala Builders are applying the exact same high-end craftsmanship to commercial spaces that they use to build custom spas, pools, and luxury homes.
Right.
If offices continue to drastically upgrade their amenities and comfort to attract talent, will the future corporate office eventually become completely indistinguishable from a luxury boutique hotel or a high-end residence?
No, that is a fascinating thought. Are we eventually just building mansions with really good Wi-Fi and calling them offices?
It entirely changes how we value commercial space.
It really does. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We highly encourage you to walk into your own workspace tomorrow, look around, and ask yourself, are you standing on a dynamic, adaptable stage set? Or are you just sitting inside a very old filing cabinet? Keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.